The SAVE Act was passed to help address these problems on college campuses. It requires that all incoming staff, faculty, and students receive information about sexual assault, dating and domestic violence, and stalking. It requires that this information be in the form of primary prevention education, which means that it goes beyond just raising an awareness that these crimes occur and offers an understanding of why they occur and the steps that we can take to prevent them from occurring. There are many reasons that survivors of sexual assault don't feel supported. Lack of knowledge about how assaults happen and misunderstandings about who is responsible for the assault lead to common statements that blame survivors or question their truthfulness. We all hear these statements, and when one of us is assaulted, we are often reluctant to tell anyone because we fear we won't be believed, or we will be blamed, or perhaps we blame ourselves. No one ever asked to be hurt or assaulted. The perpetrator of the violation is responsible, not the survivor. Survivors deserve our support. Start by believing. There are no more false reports of sexual assault than of any other crime. Much research has determined that more than 92% of these reports are truthful. You don't have to be an expert to believe someone, to listen if they want to talk to you, to say, "I'm sorry this happened," and to offer to help them find resources and information. The best thing you can do is listen. The worst thing you can do is ask for details or question what they did or did not do.
Domestic and dating violence or relationship abuse is a pattern of coercive or harmful behavior between one intimate partner and the other. There are many forms of domestic and dating violence. They can be economic, emotional, physical, sexual, or psychological. If there is a threat of physical violence, you and the victim should consider calling a domestic violence shelter or hotline. If such a shelter or hotline isn't available, you might want to consider calling law enforcement. The most dangerous time for a victim is when they're leaving their partner and the period shortly after that. Physical violence tends to escalate, so it's critical you have professional assistance so that you can do quality safety planning. Another way to make a difference is to talk about healthy relationships as often as possible. Have a look at this model of healthy relationships and consider how the different pieces of it apply to your own relationships. There are many ways to make a difference around this, and the more you talk about these components of healthy relationships, the better off we will all be. Something else to consider is that if you hear someone talking about unhealthy relationships, for example, saying that jealousy is a sign of love, you can easily do something about that by speaking up and saying, "No, actually, jealousy is a sign of control, not love." You can speak up and make a difference, and starting off with conversations about healthy relationships is the right way to go.
As with other forms of sexual violation, if someone tells you that they think they're being stalked, believe them and don't minimize their experience.
Take what they've said seriously and encourage them to do the same. Seek out professional assistance whenever possible. And remember, stalking is not a joke.
As we increase the education about these topics on our campuses, more of us will hear disclosures from survivors. This may come as a surprise to you, so once again, here are 3 simple things you can say that will be helpful. 1, "I'm so sorry this happened." 2, "This is not your fault." And 3, "Would you like for me to help? Could I look for resources for you or go with you to talk to someone?" Remember that you were chosen to hear this story because that person trusted you. If you are a mandated reporter, it's important that you let the survivor know this before they share their story, so they will have the option of looking for a confidential resource.